आप लोग इधर से आओ ना जरा, मेरे को वहाँ फोटो करना प्लीज। साइड आ जाओ सर, प्लीज कम सर। यहाँ पे मैम एक फोटो ले दे पहले। अरे यार सॉरी, फोटो कर लेना थोड़ा वीडियो पीछे सर सामने। सर सामने देखिए।
Band all the way right? Band all the way. Yeah, that's
सर आप एक साथ में
no, but I've marked it.
feeling बताइएगा। Tell me a little about your views on PK Nair Sahab and what would you like to tell?
I wish that PK Nair Sahab had received the recognition that he deserved in his lifetime. But that is one of those things which we have no control over. I do not think that there could be a greater service rendered than what Nair Sahab did to the recording, the preservation, the searching out of old films, the recording of history, the painstaking labor that he put. I used to wonder when we were students, okay, what does this man sit and note down all the time? Why doesn't he watch the damn movie? I didn't realize he was watching the movie and making notes, and copious notes about every little detail of every single movie. It's just impossible to imagine that there could be a man who gave his whole life to just loving movies, and that's the only way I can put it.
How does it feel today, sir, reading excerpts?
I'm proud to be associated with this book, and I'm proud to be associated with Shivendra and the work he's doing, and with my good friend Mr. V.V. Chopra, who I bumped into after very long. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm proud to be reading passages from Nair Sahab's book.
आपको कैसे लग रहा है सर? You're with him in the book and you've done it together, so.
See, what Naseer said, all I can say that I don't think I would be standing here but for Mr. Nair. I think he didn't only, of course, preserve everything, and like Naseer said, I still remember that little torch in the corner, but he was probably the only teacher I had at the Film Institute. He was the best teacher because he taught us by showing us cinema and talking about it. And I'll never forget, there was a print of Breathless and I wanted to study it, and he could not officially give it to me, Naseer. So you know how Nair Sahab seriously walked, and he just said, Kokji and Dalvi were our project. Print you keep here at night. And then he walked away, just telling them to keep the print. And then Dalvi said, Nair Sahab bole, tum raat ko le jao, study karke aao. This was the kind of man he was, and that is why I'm here. And I would do anything for Mr. Nair. And I agree with him. If the powers that be are listening, he deserves to be whatever, Padma Bhushan. For me, he deserves to be Bharat Ratna. Actually,
He deserves the highest honor. That
he absolutely and totally deserves. And I think it's time we acknowledge that. And if I ever become a minister, which I never will, I will do it for him.
Shivendra, how do you feel? You made the film The Celluloid Man, and now you're reading his book.
Yeah, no, for us, it's been a very memorable time because when Nair Sahab passed away, one of the best gifts I could get was all the material which he possessed, he left behind for us in the archive at the Film Heritage Foundation. And I think for us it was a starting point that what could be done with that material we have. And no better tribute can be made than the book which has come out of all that material we've had to reach out to millions of fans. One of the things Nair Sahab did was that even after he finished his tenure at the NFAI as a director, he refused to go back to his lovely home in Kerala, but stayed in a small little dingy flat right next to the NFAI. And the idea was that he wanted to propagate, he didn't want to be away from film critics, film scholars, film fans, anybody to do with cinema, because I don't think he knew anything but cinema. So this book is something which has been compiled together for the very first time of all his writings, which will reach to millions of people. And I think that's why Vinod came on board, that what he's been propagating. And he's the only man in the history of Indian cinema who talks about the object, he talks about being a film fan, film critique, language, projection, every form of cinema is someone which you will, and it's a passionate person talking about. So we are very proud to be associated. We are very honored that both Vinod and Mr. Naseeruddin Shah and Shyam Babu, who's here, have taken out time to be with us and support not only the cause of what Naya Saab stood for, but also the foundation, which is very important in taking his legacy forward.
Yeah, and I'd like to jump in and say on behalf of both Vinod and myself and every other film lover that we appreciate very much what Shivi is doing. He is probably the only one continuing Nair Saab's tradition.
Absolutely.
Can you just do the media together once? Huh.
Should we start? Can I request the press to all sit down and clear? Vidhu Vinod Chopra, who has generously supported the publication of this book, for which we are very thankful to him. Naya Saab was mentor to Vinod, and we could not have asked for a better partner than him to support us on this book. Shri Naseeruddin Shah, who I have known since my days in Doon School, and who's always come through for us whenever I have called upon him. It is truly a privilege, sir, to have you read extracts from Naya Saab's book. Thank you very much for coming. Unfortunately, our chief guest and our brand ambassador, Shri Amitabh Bachchan, has suddenly fallen ill and he's not been able to attend. But he sent me this note while I was traveling to the venue, and I'm going to read a small message from him. Shivendra, I've suddenly and quite unexpectedly developed a high fever. I regret profusely that I shall be unable to attend the event this evening. A shame, really, because I was looking forward to it. As a country, we have shied away from the luxury of documentation, leave alone its restoration and preservation, for films at least. What you and your foundation have initiated is almost a selfless but very important and necessary element worked upon by Mr. Nair. I send my best wishes to the launch of your book on him and do stand by my commitment to the very service of this noble cause. Your idea of constructing an archive, the design which I've been working closely with you, is appreciated and most laudable, and one that I can hope shall receive patronage not just from the film fraternity, but indeed from the city of Mumbai, the film capital of the nation. Amitabh Bachchan. Thank you. I'm very happy to see many members of the film industry. Your presence here is a great show of support to our foundation. Thank you. Welcome also to Naya Saab's family. We are delighted to have you with us. Thank you for coming. And of course, I cannot forget all our friends, family, and some of whom have flown down specially from this event and who have been unstintingly in their support for whatever we do. When Naya Saab passed away last year, his daughter Beena got in touch with me and told me that he had left behind his books, catalogs, files, journals to be handed over to the Film Heritage Foundation. This foundation was created with his ideology at the very onset. While going through the material, we discovered a treasure. Naya Saab had been a prolific writer, and we felt that the compilation of his writings would make a unique book on cinema. His passion for cinema leaps off the pages, and he writes on subjects as diverse as the song in Indian cinema, to his top 10 list of lost films, to saving Phalke films from extinction. And it was our editor, Rajesh Devraj, who I want to thank, who's done a wonderful job of structuring the book and editing these essays written by Nair Saab over the years. I would also like to thank Bala Nair, who's not with us here anymore, who guarded one of Nair Saab's very diaries, which he took when he was studying as a student at the FTI. And those famous diaries for which we've used as a source in this book. I wish we could have published the book in Nair Saab's lifetime, but I'm sure he would have been proud, as we are, with the way it has turned out. Before we move ahead, I would like to take a few minutes to tell you about the Film Heritage Foundation and our activities and our future plans. We started the Film Heritage Foundation in 2014 in response to the fact that we have lost a colossal amount of our film heritage and continue to lose more of it every day. We are amongst the few countries that just has one film archive, and given the sheer volume of films we have produced and continue to make, it's impossible for a single institution to bear the responsibility of this alone. Our film heritage belongs to us, and we need to invest in its future. One of the biggest challenges was the common attitude that the films are a commercial business for the entertainment. And they're not part of our social structural module. With the arrival of the digital age, most people believe that celluloid is outdated as long as you have digital copies. This is not true, as celluloid is still the only archival medium that has proven longevity of more than 100 years, if, of course, kept in proper conditions. And you will always need to go back to the original format of a film as the best source of quality restoration, as well as for making digital copies. Our objectives were to create awareness about the urgent need to preserve both filmic and non-filmic material, to restore films keeping in mind the original creator's vision, to train an indigenous resource of film archivists and restorers, to develop educational programs for children, to sensitize them to the unique language of cinema, and to build a world-class film archive and exhibition center. We have since then conducted two of the most important workshops. We conducted the first one in Bombay at the Films Division, and we had the support of Martin Scorsese's Film Foundation. And it was a 7-day intensive workshop which included theory and practical classes. Some of the images, there's a video which we have from Scorsese, which talks about our initiative. Yeah, if you can play that.
The language of cinema is universal. So in a time